Hi, welcome to another edition of Chart Check. Election fever is in the air, and the whole atmosphere is getting supercharged about the upcoming elections, which should be probably somewhere around the April-May time. So what I've done this time is to take a look at how the market has fared vis-a-vis the elections. And for that, I've gone back right to the first of the elections that independent India had. So on the chart here, as is visible, we have seen elections from 1952 onwards. That was the first of the elections. So this chart, I'm going to take you through 1952 till 2014 elections and how the markets fared. So this is the first of the charts which is showing you election and post-election movement from 1952 through 1971. For the chart data, I have used the Reserve Bank index, and that's what I have superimposed for the election dates. So as you can see from this chart, in the early part we pretty much followed whatever was the trend of the market, sort of reversing it at the time of election. 1952 and 1957, as could be seen in these two charts here, the markets were at a bottom and they swung upward. But then the subsequent elections, 1962, 1967, 1971, you saw the markets trading near about the highs. But the key thing to remember here is that in 1962 and 1971 we had two wars, and the market had actually a very big external reason for turning down post that election. We had already gone up for the 1971 war when Mrs. Gandhi won that landslide victory, but the markets had already priced all these in, and which is why the market went down. So moving on, we find the next set of elections, which and then this particular chart number 2, it stretches from 1977 all the way till about 1996. Now here the whole pattern changes a little, and you are finding that after every election in this period, the market has tended to go up, and it did so in 1977 and upward in every election. It did not matter here whether the market was at the bottom or it was at the top. So you would find that as the elections moved ahead, the market actually kept pace going upward. And it was only in 1996 that we saw the market actually turn a bit soft, and this was a period when things were a little bit iffy because the coalition government had actually moved in. And then if we move on to the next particular chart, which will now show you the the election period from 1997, we actually had two elections at that time. One which was in 1996 and quickly followed by another one in 1997. If you recall, that was the period of coalition governments. There were about 3 changes and 4 prime ministers, and it was also the period of the infamous 13-day government of Mr. Vajpayee. Now what is interesting on this chart is that you can see post elections that the moves are becoming much larger, and typically we are seeing here that the election results, it didn't matter whether they came when the market was high or when the market was low. Typically we are seeing that there is a little bit of pullback when the market does prior to the election, but the moves which have emerged from it have been pretty substantial. The last one here is 2009, and then it went up to 2014, and that was when we had the big move. And that brings us to our chart number 4, where we are seeing the situation coming into the present. Now here you can see in this particular case, earlier I had used a mix of the RBI index, and then I used the Sensex from 79 onwards, and here just for a point of illustration I am actually using the BSE mid cap index. Now we can see that 2009, 2014 the markets again saw a large move upward, and then we are now coming into 2019. So what's the situation in 2019? The markets have pulled back significantly. Now the index per se might be only about 8-9% down, but the real pain felt by most of the market is in the mid caps, and the mid caps are drawn down about 25%. What's even worse, if you look at the market cap drawdown, that's almost around 50-55%. So the market is in a big drawdown, and I have also drawn a tool here called the pitchfork, and we can see that the market is actually trading near the low of the pitchfork, that's down at support. Now if you take all these things together, there have been 16 elections so far, and 11 out of those 16 elections the market has chosen to go up. That means about 70% of the time the market chooses to go up post an election. So, we are coming into a point of for the 2019 elections, the market drawn down very well, down into support. The the history, the pattern of history shows us that there is a 70% chance of a big upside action post the election. So, my expectation is that 2019 elections will actually act as a positive salve for the market, and therefore, we should be looking forward to the election outcome and the post market move.